Good evening and welcome to the Thursday, May 12th, 2022 meeting of the committee as a whole for the Finance and Administrative meeting. Ms. Coakley, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Harrell.
Here.
Mr. Green. Mrs. Heinz. Mr. Derman. Mr. Loop. Mr. Nation. Mrs. Moore. Mr. Winkler. Mrs. Baker. Mr. Bentoncourt. Mrs. Lamy. Mr. Hersey. Mr. Bro. Mr. Kuzan. Mrs. Page.
Thank you, Ms. Coakley. Ms. Moore, would you please lead us in the invocation and pledge of allegiance?
Thank you, Mr. Winkler. Dear Lord, be with us this evening. As we meet, let us make informed and educated decision. Lord, please look over all of our employees, and thank you for all the hard work, our teachers, paras, office staff, central office staff, clerical, cafeteria, custodian, and maintenance. And may we all be allowed a safe passage home. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Up next, we have the recognition of visitors. Do any board members like Mr. Kuzan?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I have two things that I'd like to acknowledge today. The first thing I'd like to acknowledge is a young lady named Taylor Vanden from North Shore High School who scored a perfect 36 on the ACT examination. So I'd like to give her an acknowledgement. The second thing I'd like to do is introduce a former principal at Mayfield Elementary School who is here present with us today. Ms. LeBlanc, she in the office, would you please stand, please? Thank you, Mr. President.
Board members, anybody else? Seeing none. Mr. Jabby, would you mind giving us an update?
Sure, thank you so much. It's so nice to have everybody here. Today is a great day. We just kicked it off with a great special board meeting. And I'm looking forward to a tremendous recruiting season at Job Fair with what this board just approved. So again, thank you all very much. We're wrapping up a very challenging school year. It's been difficult at times, but I just want a big shout out to all of our faculty, our staff, and our administration for doing a tremendous job. We're in the middle of finishing up LEAP testing. We're about to kick off exams. So I'm just thankful for everyone that has done everything to make this school year extremely successful. The Mr. Derman COVID update is for this week, 6 positive students and 3 positive employees. Again, we still maintain very, very low numbers. So we're so thankful about that. And lastly, I just wanted to say, we just finished 8 graduations in 6 days. And I can't tell you how proud I am of the faculty, administration, staff, and all of our graduates and their parents. They were 8 tremendous ceremonies, and it was just electric. You could just feel it in the arena. It was so nice for all of us to be together in the Coliseum and just be able to be there to celebrate the accomplishments of all of our students. So Channel 13 has put together a wonderful video. So please take a look at our 8 graduations.
I feel it in my bones, the way I hit the lows. Every day felt like a roller coaster. Consumed by all the noise, I had to make a choice. Threw my demons over my shoulder. I got my blood on fire. I got my blood on fire. I've been waiting for this all my life. Good thing never come to those who wait in line. I've been breaking these walls in my mind, and woo, they're breaking down. I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world. I'm on top of the world. I had a change of view, so packed a parachute and started climbing mountains I had made up. I was afraid of heights until I learned to fly. Now I'm staring at the ground from way up. I got my blood on fire. And it takes me higher. I've been waiting for this all my life. Good thing never come to those who wait in line. I've been breaking these walls in my mind, and woo, they're breaking down. I'm on top of the world. I'm on things never come to those who wait in line. I've been breaking these walls in my mind, and I'm on top of the world. I've been waiting for this all my life. Good thing never come to those who wait in line. I've been breaking these walls in my mind, and been breaking down. I'm on top of the world. Whoa. I'm on top of the world. Whoa. I'm on top of the world.
Again, congratulations to our almost 2,400 graduates this year, and I'm just so thankful for them and wish them the very, very best. But thank you, Mr. Harrell. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And we do still have a few seats in the front if anybody standing in the back wants to come up to the front. Board members, did y'all have any questions for Mr. Jabbia? Seeing none, we'll move on to.
It was a great 6 days. I'm telling you, it was tremendous. It was worth every bit of long Saturday and everything, and then just so thankful for them.
All right, we've got some special recognition. Up first, we have the Outstanding Support Employee of the Year Awards, Ms. Niehaus.
Good evening, Mr. Harrell, board members, and Mr. Jabbia. Tonight, I have the honor to present to you our Outstanding Support Employees of the Year. Each year, our schools and sites nominate outstanding employees who are extraordinary people with a skill set that sets them apart from all others. Every year, we form a committee to review all nominees and make the tough decision to nominate one person to represent each grade level. And our first honoree tonight, representing the elementary division, is Miss Takenya Collins. She is our cafeteria manager at Alton Elementary, and we have a video showcasing her.
Takenya Collins has been with us recently as of 2 years as our cafe manager. She has just a sweet personality and just a sweet disposition about her.
When Dr. Aber gave me a call and let me know that I won, I was like shocked, and I was like so happy, you know.
She has a heart for people, and she knows that as a school and even as a district, what we do for children just goes beyond educating kids. We are there for the community.
It's an honor for me when I see the kids come in line and get their tray and just say, hey, Miss TK. Some of them even say, you know, they even like our cooking, and they said our food is good. And I love hearing that they saying our food is delicious. Everybody work together. Everybody work as a team. Everybody get along, and it's like family here.
She is such an important, vital part of our staff, and has been just an asset to our school, our Alton community, and to our district. And I can't think of anyone more deserving of having that recognition as being the support employee for our school system.
I'd like to present Ms. Collins with this plaque of recognition. Oh. You're gonna make me cry. Well deserved. Ms. Collins has some guests with her, and I'd like them to stand up to be recognized as well, her family. Our representative for our middle junior high division is Miss Melissa Segretti. She is a paraprofessional at Little Oak, and we have a video to highlight her.
Can you tell what that is in the picture down here at the bottom? Whenever Ms. Gattuso announced my name and the honor, I started jumping up and down and cheering, and there were some students in the hallway that came to give me a hug and congratulate me, and Ms. Vandercliffe gave me a hug too.
I wasn't surprised, but I was very pleased. Of all people, she deserves it. anything that you ask Melissa to do, she's just what a positive attitude. She always has a positive attitude and never complains. And not only does she do what you ask her, but she does a really, really good job.
As a paraprofessional on a daily basis, I do a variety of things. I can be emotional support, I can be academic support. For the most part, though, I like to sit down and work with my students on whatever they're working on that day, project or written work, math work. I'm their partner in learning.
If they have a problem, like if they are in the classroom and they feel like it's a skill that they know, but they're struggling, they know they can reach out to her and she's going to, pull them aside and help them so that they can do better.
So when I'm helping you achieve your goals and be the best you that you can be, then we're all happy and successful. And I absolutely love my job. I love the people I work with. I love my school. I love my students. I'm very grateful.
I'd like to ask Missy to come up to get her plaque. Congratulations. Thank you so much for being here. I'd also like to recognize her entourage that's here. Our high school division is represented by Mr. Dennis Smith. He is assistant head custodian at Lakeshore. And unfortunately, Mr. Smith wasn't able to be with us tonight, but we do have a video recognizing him.
When I received the email this year to nominate a support employee of the year, I immediately thought of Mr. Dennis.
It's a big honor. I wasn't expecting it. I just stepped up and did my job. Somebody had to do it.
Throughout COVID, especially leading into the school year, Mr. Dennis, without me even asking, stepped up to the plate, made sure that everything ran as smoothly as it always does with our custodial staff here at Lakeshore.
I have a great boss, and there's a great support staff.
With custodians, it's not just the responsibility of cleaning, but it's also setting up and breaking down for events.
But I have a good crew that works with me too. No matter what we need done, we get together and get it done.
Our custodial staff, they know that when the campus is clean, it's ready for students to learn.
Because I don't care if you're the president or if you're on the back of a garbage truck, it doesn't matter. Do the best job you can do. And you go places.
And so for him to have this recognition, although I know he doesn't really like recognition, for him to have this recognition just warms my heart because he certainly deserves to feel appreciated.
We have Mr. Smith's assistant principal here, and I'd like you to take the plaque back to him and tell him we missed him very much.
I'm pretty sure he's at work.
In addition to all of our grade level nominees, we also, as a district, recognize someone at the site level. All of our offices submit a nominee. And this year, our site nominee is Mr. Joshua Overstreet. He is a maintenance worker in our Covington warehouse, and we have a video on Mr. Josh.
Josh is a great asset to the maintenance department. He always goes above and beyond. Gets along with everybody. He has the respect of everyone here because how professional he conducts himself.
Anybody needs any help, I'm there for them. I don't even consider it work, to tell you the truth. I love it so much. It's something new every day. I enjoy it. Never know what's on the agenda.
A great carpenter, but he also does, he all around, he does electrical. I mean, he's all around If you say maintenance man, he's an all-around maintenance man.
Come in here and enjoy work with the guys. They're like family. You know, I spend more time here than at home. Hey, Daniel, take a look.
He's a great mentor to the newer employees coming in. He's always willing to do anything, ask if it's in his trade or not in his trade.
You name it, I could probably build it.
It was an honor to find out Josh had received the award. Couldn't pick a better person to receive it. It was great feeling to know that the maintenance department was recognized for something.
I was very shocked and excited about it. I'm glad I was acknowledged.
I'd like to ask Josh to come up to the podium. Congratulations. Well deserved. Well deserved. And also, I'd like to recognize Mrs. Overstreet. Mr. Harrell, will you be introducing Megan for the substitute, or would you like me to?
Go ahead.
Okay. Since I just did.
Yep.
We also have a nominee for the district for our substitute of the year, and Miss Megan Hurstis, who is a coordinator in human resources, is here to present that award.
Good evening, Board President Harrell, school board members, and Superintendent Jabia. It is an honor to have the opportunity to present our district substitute of the year. Each of our 55 schools was asked to nominate a substitute who has shown dedication and commitment to their schools. As our support employee of the year, a committee is formed to select the substitute of the year. Of the nominations, Mrs. Joyce Ray, also known by her school as Mama Joyce, St. Tammany Junior High, proves to be deserving of this award for her display of selflessness and dependability. Channel 13 has produced a special video highlighting Miss Ray's dedication to our schools.
She's a selfless person. Everybody comes before she does. She is the last person that she looks out for. She's very dependable. She's just everything that you would expect and more that a substitute is. She provides the consistent work ethic that we need for my children to be successful in the classroom and for also to keep the daily function of the school running in the manner it needs to be.
I'm so very honored. I absolutely adore working at the schools here in Slidell and seeing the children and seeing how they, make their way through the system. And anytime you could help one of them, that's a plus.
All 55 principals in this school district would love to have Joyce Ray as a substitute on their campus. That's how important she is in the job that she does and the value that she brings to this campus.
You can offer, you can contribute, you could help, you could do something to inspire, encourage any of them. And they can accept, and they will accept, they usually do accept everything you have to offer.
Yeah.
At this time, I would like Miss Joyce Ray to come accept her award. Would Miss Ray's family please come to the podium, or come stand up, just stand up, please. Okay.
Board members, did y'all have any comments that y'all would like to make regarding our staff?
Awesome.
Hard to follow up. All right, moving on. Mr. Javia, we have the announcements of administrative appointments.
Yes, thank you, Board President Harrell, board members, community. Tonight, again, the good news continues. We get to recognize 10 individuals that have either changed roles or are new to this district. And I'm just so happy to have them. We are truly blessed in St. Tammany. As you can see by the turnout here tonight, we are truly blessed. And I just couldn't be any happier to welcome some people in some new roles. And I'm just excited for what the future holds. And I just couldn't be any more proud of the process and the applicants and the pool and just everything that goes into what it goes to be an administrator here in St. Tammany. So I just want to thank everyone for being here and being here to recognize these wonderful people. I'd like to start tonight by recognizing the new Mandeville High School principal, Mr. Christian Munson.
Mr. Alfonso, you want to set that timer? It might be a red flag if they go over.
Superintendent Jabbia, Board President Harrell, board members, central office staff, who I now call my friends, thank you for the opportunity to lead Mandeville High School. The last 2 years for me have been phenomenal in central office as a supervisor and will definitely make me a better principal. The decision to even apply for the job at Mandeville took months and months of intentional prayer, and it took, my wife has veto power, so Leslie, and I can tell you this, being a high school principal takes a toll on your family life. So something that we discussed, and I'm grateful for her. And obviously my two kids, Ford and Darby, had to ask them, like, hey, is it okay if dad takes, applies for a job? And they said, yeah, we'll get to eat lunch with you every day and hang out in your office when we get to Mandeville High, which I'll have to watch that. But really, and the thought of handing the diploma to them would be really a crowning jewel of my career down the road. About 2 days after the job posted, I was really on the fence of, do I want to jump back in that frying pan of being a principal? And I got a text from Mr. Foles, and the text was pretty simple. He said, Patty and I were at a restaurant, and the little girl was waiting on us to serve her. She said, you look familiar. He said, I probably handed you a diploma. She said, yeah. She said, I had the best principal ever. It was Mr. Muntz at Lakeshore High. She said, I was going through some stuff my senior year, and he really kind of just spoke words into me, and it kind of changed my course that year. I graduated, I got into college, and he said, man, just stories like that, I want you to hear. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. That I said, I've got to get back into it. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I'll outwork anybody. So I'm just so ready to get to school, to get to work, to make not only the students, the faculty, the parents, the community proud. It's a great school. People are worried that I'm coming and change a lot of stuff. The only thing I'm gonna do is expect every single kid to get every opportunity that kid deserves, and to grow each individual kid every single day. So with that, thank you guys.
Will the family and friends, supporters of Mr. Munson please stand up and be recognized, please. Our next appointment tonight is new principal at Bayou Woods Elementary. She is new to our district. She's from Marksville, Louisiana, and we are so happy to have her, Ms. Nicole Guyon.
Good evening. It's so good to be here with you guys. As he said, I am coming from Avals Parish, about 3 hours from here. But the best thing I can say to you guys tonight about being here, coming from another district, is how efficient this district has been in this process from when the ad was put out to me being here tonight. Your staff has treated me so well, starting Mr. Alfonso. He has been great. He is a gem to you guys here from day one when he contacted me. I'm excited to be leading Bayou Woods. I'm getting to know the place, getting to know the people. The staff has been so welcoming. I'm a firm believer that a school is only as strong as its community, as strong as the culture that is there. So I know I have some work to do, and I'm ready to take that head on. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, an outsider that you really know nothing about, but I can guarantee you that I'm a hard worker, and I'm ready to put my feet on the ground and get moving. So thank you for this opportunity, and I look forward to putting some names to some faces real soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Will Ms. Guyon's family and friends please stand and be recognized, please? Thank you. Our next appointment tonight is principal at Boyette Junior High School. This gentleman is just changing roles. He's very familiar, and we're so happy to have him. Mr. Mark Merriman.
Good evening, Superintendent Jabia, Superintendent's Board, President Harrell, and board members. I would like to first thank God, the head of my life, for this blessing. I am humbled by and thankful for the opportunity to serve as principal at Boyette. I do not take for granted the position that I have been afforded and have accepted, and will endeavor to continue to raise the standard of excellence that will take Boyette to greater heights. I am poised to do whatever it takes to raise student achievement, to build capacity among my staff, to build relationships within my learning community and our school community, and to grow myself as a leader. I want to take this opportunity to thank my superintendent, Frank Jabia, and my interview committee for entrusting me with this opportunity to lead. I want to thank my family, my raison d'etre, the wind beneath my wings, my beloved wife, who is my rock, and our boys, our blessings, for supporting me and giving me an opportunity to extend myself beyond my nuclear family into my school family. I want to thank my Boyette family, my MVPs, who have embraced me as assistant principal, the acting principal from the time it was told to them in November, and even now at this moment. Our future is bright at Boyette. Together, we will continue to make great things happen at Boyette. And last but not least, I want to thank others who have had or expressed faith in me throughout my acting principal status. You know who you are. While I cannot name all of you at this time, just know that I appreciate all of you for your support. And to my own Lisa Page, Mrs. Page, I thank you. From the time I was at Boyette, I'll never forget. I mean, she just has this undying love for Boyette. And her support has been there throughout. So I do appreciate that. I thank you, and I thank you.
Will Mr. Merriman's family, friends, and guests please stand to be recognized, please? Our next appointment tonight is principal at Shataima Elementary, Ms. Alexandra O'Dowd.
Good evening, President Harrell, Superintendent Jabia, and members of the board. I would first like to say thank you to Mr. Jabia and the hiring committee for giving me the opportunity to serve and support the students, families, teachers, and staff of Shataima Elementary School. I'm extremely proud and excited to begin my 22nd year in education as the principal of this amazing learning community. I would like to recognize and thank Mr. Gary Malbrew, the outgoing retiring principal of Shataima Elementary. I am dedicated to continuing celebrating our students' successes. I will strive to continue to build the positive community relationships and child-centered environment that Mr. Malbrew has so easily created. I would also like to recognize and give a huge thanks to all the dynamic administrators and teachers that I've worked with over the years, especially this past year as a parish-wide assistant principal. Thank you all for welcoming me into your school families and supporting me as I move along this journey. Last but not least, I would like to thank my village, to my family and my friends who make all of this possible, especially my husband, Ryan, who has become the best chef and field trip chaperone any child could ask for. To the faculty and staff of Shataima Elementary, I look forward to working with each of you, learning from all of you, and creating a school environment together that continuously enriches, encourages, and educates us all. Thank you.
Will Allie's family, friends, supporters, please stand and be recognized, please. Thank you so much. Next, new principal at Cypress Cove Elementary. Again, not a different location, but a different role. But congratulations, Ms. Jacqueline Crawford.
Good afternoon, Superintendent Jabia, President Harrell, school board members, and central office staff. Thank you for this opportunity to serve as principal of Cypress Cove Elementary. 20 years ago, becoming a principal or even an assistant principal was not a goal of mine, but as we know, there's always a bigger plan. 18 years ago, Tassie Wall started my journey into leadership. Although I swore I would never be an administrator, she encouraged me to pursue my educational leadership degree. Since then, Lisa Dial has had a huge impact on my leadership abilities. She has taught me so much. I have big shoes to fill at Cypress Cove, but I feel that I'm fully prepared to do so. To the faculty and staff of Cypress Cove, I promise to uphold the amazing things we have in place. Together, we will continue to make positive impacts on our students and their families. I must also take the time to thank my parents for always encouraging me and supporting my dreams. I'm also incredibly thankful for my husband, Percy, and my children, Brandon, Jayla, and Jaden, who pull my slack at home when I'm at school late and then I come home exhausted. I couldn't be a successful school leader without them. I'm excited about the next chapter of my career. I love the people that I get to spend every day with, and I can't wait to see what we can do for the students of Cypress Cove. In closing, I will end with a quote from Walt Disney. Our greatest natural resource is the minds of our children. I'm looking forward to working with the staff of Cypress Cove to ensure this natural resource reaches its highest potential. Thank you.
Will Jackie's friends, family, and supporters please stand and be recognized, please. Thank you. Next is principal at Fontainebleau High School. Again, it's a new face to St. Tammany. We're so excited to have Mr. Nathan Corley.
Superintendent Jabia, members of the board, other members of the interview committee, first of all, thank you. As an outsider, it is not lost on me the tremendous amount of trust you're showing by trusting me to lead this school, this awesome, awesome school. But from what I've seen from my first interview to visits to the campus to what I see here tonight, I will not be an outsider for long. I look forward to being part of this community because this community is critical to the success of not only Fontainebleau, but to every school. I believe very deeply that it is our job as a school system, and in particular as a high school, to help every single kid find what he or she is passionate about, and then to get busy helping him or her lay a foundation to begin to build a future around that passion. And I plan to work every single day to make sure that I and Fontainebleau High School are just a little bit better than the day before to make that happen. Again, thank you. And thanks to my wife for letting me do this. This is not a small ask on her part either. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Will Nathan's family and supporters please stand and be recognized? Next, principal at Mayfield Elementary. Again, changing roles, but not a new school. Ms. Katie Singleton.
Good evening, Superintendent Jabia, Assistant Superintendents, and board members. About 20 minutes from here is the best elementary school in Slidell. It is where I spent 11 of my 19 years as an educator. This year, we celebrate 10 years of excellence at Mayfield. And I would like to thank a few people that played a major part in Mayfield's success. Arlena LeBlanc, Carrie Sue, I'm sorry, Miss Arlena LeBlanc, Miss Carrie Sue, and Miss Ayana Carr Rogers. All were amazing principals of Mayfield. I would like to thank my family, my amazing husband. Thank you for always supporting me. My 2 kids, Jeremy, who will be moving on to junior high next year, so that's kind of bittersweet. And my sweet Lauren, who's always speaking her mind. I would like to thank my parents and my other family who are all watching this meeting from the great state of Alabama. And last, my work family. Thank you for always going above and beyond. I would like to give a special shout out to 2 very dedicated teachers, Mr. Nardo and Coach Kendall. Who both suffered a tragic loss this year. But through their most difficult times, they always made sure that our Mayfield family was taken care of. Thank you for showing me the true meaning of dedication. And thank you for showing me why Mayfield is so good to be at. I need all of my Mayfield Bears, the ones that are here this evening and the ones that are watching from home. On the count of 3, you know exactly what to do. 1, 2, 3. Go Bears! Thank you, guys.
Will the family, friends, supporters of Ms. Singleton please stand up and be recognized, please? Thank you. Quick story real quick. I was doing my first visits 18 months ago, and I went to Mayfield. I've known Katie for about 5 years. And she said, Lauren wants to tell you hello. So I went by and was like, hey, Lauren. She's like, Mr. Jabia, there's no soap in the girls' bathroom. I'm like, thank you, Lauren. We were in the middle of a pandemic, and I was like a little freaked out. But Lauren keeps us all straight, so thank you all very much. But next, we want to recognize principal at Slidell High School, longtime coach, friend of mine, and so glad to have him in this position, Mr. Larry Favre.
Superintendent Jabia, board members, good evening. L.V. McGinty, Joseph Buckaron, William Billy Percy, 3 administrators over a half a century at Slidell High, and you have selected me to be the 4th in that lineage. And I cannot think of any greater honor or any greater responsibility that you could give me to take on. And I just owe you so much thanks, and so much thanks to all of you tonight for this great honor. And Superintendent Jabia, to return to your alma mater and the alma mater of your family, it's a tremendous honor. In 2009, when I worked here, then Superintendent Gail Sloan said, Coach, she saw something in me, and she said, you know what, I'm going to send you to Slidell High to study with the GOAT, the greatest of all time, Billy Percy. And little did I know that I would become Mr. Percy's head football coach, his administrative assistant, his athletic director, and he would become a great friend and mentor. And I just, every day, studying under Mr. Percy, his knowledge, his wisdom, his passion for children, his ability to always put children first. And he's left great, huge shoes to fill at Slidell High in this school system. And we owe so much to Mr. Percy, and I just owe so much to him and thank you for this opportunity. As so many people have said, we owe so much to our families. 25-year football coach, administrators, when you're in this business, it stays with you all the time. Nobody pays a greater sacrifice than your family. Even when you're at home, you're still at work. So I have so much thanks to my family that's here tonight, my mother, Janet Baker, Nicole, my daughter, Caroline, for their love and support. Without them, this doesn't happen tonight. Special thanks to my mentor, Mr. Ronald Guerin, who's here tonight. He got me my very first job at O. Perry Walker 32 years ago. He laid the blueprint and the plans for me. And I just want to thank Mr. Guerin for being here. Lastly, I want to thank Mr. McCurley and the Covington High family, our admin team, the faculty, the staff, the students at Covington High. Wow. Is there not a very, very special place? And these last 11 months working with them at Covington High has been phenomenal. And it's going to be very tough to roll out of there next Friday and leave that family behind. But it's a great day to be a Tiger, baby. And we're going back. And I promise to continue 113 years tradition of excellence at Slidell High and all that stood for and all its prides and traditions, but also bring it up to date with the changing community and the diversity in our community. We're ready to go to work. Let's go to work. And Slidell, here we come. We're back. So let's go to work. Thank you.
Will the family and supporters of Mr. Farr please stand to be recognized, please? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Farr. Once a Tiger, always a Tiger, baby. Next, we want to recognize new principal at Slidell Junior High School. It's crazy how it comes full circle. This gentleman took my place basically at Slidell High when I left to move over to North Shore High School. And we're not going to say how long, a very long time ago. So it's my pleasure to recognize new principal at Slidell Junior High, Mr. George Haliska.
Always a pleasure to follow Larry when you get behind the mic. Superintendent Jabbia, board members, central office personnel, thank you very much for giving me the title of principal in this great school district. Once in an interview, I was asked, what have you done to prepare to be a principal? And I gave a very weak answer, said something along the lines of, I talked to this principal and that, and I've looked at school data and things of that nature. I didn't get that job, by the way. But the fact is, preparation for this position began 25 years ago when I got into education. I'm so blessed to have been able to be around such amazing leaders. And I'm going to mention a few of them. Randy Morgan, Johnny Vetrano, and Bruce Bundy. I had the pleasure of working with all of them at Fontainebleau High School, at Slidell High School for 15 years, with Billy Percy and Wayne Grubb, with Coach Favre, both places. And the last 2 years have been very special to me at Lakeshore High School. Really shifted gears in what I've done and worked with two amazing people, April Jarrell and Sandy Holt. We call ourselves the Dream Team, and it's been a dream there. It's been a very, very great thing for me and good to kind of see a different way. Each one of those people that I mentioned have extremely different styles. They're all very effective. They all have something special to offer, and they've all had a huge impact on me. And I'll bring a piece of each one of them as I head to 333 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's great to be returning back to my, I'll call it home, after taking 2 years out and getting back into that Slidell community. To my Tiger family at Slidell Junior High, I want you to know that cannot wait to get on the ground, get to work, and have this great adventure with you. I look forward to building relationships throughout our school community and continuing the excellent tradition that makes Slidell Junior High the junior high. The other thing I want to say is tonight's a special night. In addition to this, it's my wife and I's 23rd anniversary. She, more than anyone, is my best teammate that I've ever had. Without her support, without my children's support, I would be absolutely nothing. And I just love y'all. I thank you all for everything. And again, it's good to be back in the Dell.
Thank you. Will the family and friends, supporters of Mr. Haliska, please stand and be recognized, please. quick story about George also. So of course I have deep ties to Slaughter High. So he was fortunate enough to work with his wife, Robin, at Slaughter High School. So, you know, their last name is Herliska. So to keep them straight, they called him him Liska and her Liska. That's how they kept them. That's how they kept them separate. So I heard that story the other day and I was cracking me up. But congratulations, George. Last but not least, we have a new administrator, supervisor of administration here at Central Office. This gentleman's given 30 years to the Salmon community, done a tremendous job. I've known him for so long, and I can't wait to have him here working day in and day out with me here and with our team. So without further ado, new supervisor of administration here at Shane, Mr. Jerry Leonard.
Good evening, President Harrell, Superintendent Jabbia, board members and administration. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, accepting a new role in our school system. As I look back on the journey that brought me to this point, there are many people to thank for help guiding me along the way and give me the opportunity to gain experience I need to fulfill this role. From my first principal, Dana McGee at Boyette Junior High, to all the principals that I've worked with through my many years at Salmon High School, my alma mater. From Billy Heckel to Janet Condis to Byron Williams, Terry Wortman, Brennan McCurley, and now Saudia Blackman-Stokes. Each of these leaders awarded me with a level of trust that provided me the opportunity to take on different leadership roles, and I'm thankful to have learned valuable lessons from each one of them. I want to thank my beautiful wife for the many years of support and encouragement as she enjoys her first year of retirement from being principal at Whispering Forest Elementary. She said to me on the drive over tonight that she couldn't believe how fast the school year had flown by. So, being a good husband, I just nodded my head and told my mouth, don't say what your brain is thinking. So I didn't, and needless to say, I think she's had a much better year than I have. I want to thank my children, Samantha and LJ, for being such tremendous fans of both me and Mom throughout the years. And I want to mention that we're all products of the St. Tammany Parish school system. Sam, my daughter, LJ, my son, and I are all products of the legendary Salmon High School. Mimi, well, she went to North Shore.
Just saying.
I guess that's okay too. Sam graduated from Southern Miss, where I'll be tomorrow as my son graduates USM as well. I'm proud of him. The decision to leave my post at the legendary Salmon High School after 29 years is somewhat bittersweet. I'll miss all the relationships with faculty, custodians, school board maintenance, bus drivers, and especially I'll miss the relationships that I built with students along the way. I'll miss morning conversations with Saudia that helped get our day started on a positive note. And there are plenty of other things I'll miss. But I move forward with excitement to face the challenges and growth that lie ahead and the new relationships that will be built. I'll give my best in this new role with consistency and integrity. And I thank you for the opportunity. And Brendan McCurley reminded me on the way up here to just reiterate that pride is power. Thank you.
Thank you. Will Jerry's friends and family please stand up and be recognized, please?
Mr. Jerry Leonard, your performance thus far for this school district has been nothing but legendary. And of course, that must continue. So congratulations to you in this role.
Thank you, sir.
Board members, thank you all very much. As you can see, we're so excited to be surrounded with such great people and look forward to what the future holds. So thank you all very much.
Congratulations to all our new administrators and everybody moving in and moving up. Board members, did y'all have any comments that y'all like?
Exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you, Gia, for the backup.
Yeah, I got you.
We'll do this. We'll do the next. All right, up next, we have a Department of Defense, the Patriotic Employer Recognition. Please, thank you so much.
Good evening, Superintendent Jabbia, members of the board. My name is John Mannion. I'm here this evening with you representing an agency of the Department of Defense called Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve. Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve was established in 1972 with three objectives. One objective was to foster understanding and cooperation between service members and their civilian employers who they spend more of their time with than they spend with the military. The second objective, of course, was to assist in encouraging support from those civilian employers for the service members when they were deployed or otherwise away from their civilian job. And the third objective was to engage in informal mediation of problems and issues that arose in the course of conflicts that inevitably occur between the time when the military needs an individual and the time when the civilian employer needs an individual. I'm here with you this evening specifically because one of your employees nominated their immediate supervisor for an award that is given by ESGR to employers to recognize and to further encourage the support of those employers for the time that the employees are serving with the military and at the same time trying to continue to support their civilian job. The employee that nominated their employer is Miss Marcella Filipponi. I understand she's a third grade teacher at Fifth Ward Junior High, and she has nominated her supervisor, Miss Michelle Simmons, who is, I understand, principal of Fifth Ward Junior High. If I could ask her to join us up here, I'd appreciate her coming forward. I'd like to read the nomination award that Ms. Filipponi submitted to ESGR. The award says, Ms. Simmons is my principal at Fifth Ward Junior High. She's been behind me my whole time with my military career. She was on the interview board, bringing me to Fifth Ward as a teacher. I'm deploying in January, and she's completely understanding with helping me find a replacement teacher to come in for my students for the rest of the school year. She goes above and beyond to show her appreciation for my military service and getting the school and the students to rally behind me as I take on this deployment. Anything that I need, such as time to get my sub plans ready for weeks that I am gone, she helps me get that knocked out. She allows me to be a teacher and a soldier at the same time. I don't have to worry about my kids because Ms. Simmons ensures that my students, family, and myself are strong and supported. So with that, what I would like to do is present an award called the Patriotic Employer Award to Ms. Simmons. I'll read the award quickly, very short. It says, the Office of the Secretary of Defense, Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, recognizes Michelle Simmons, St. Tammany Parish School Board, as a patriotic employer for contributing to national security and protecting liberty and freedom by supporting employee participation in America's National Guard and Reserve Force. So with that, I'd like to present that and thank you very much, not only for your support of your staff, but also for your support of the military. We look forward to continuing to work with you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Don't leave yet. In addition to that, I'd like to ask Ms. Simmons if she wouldn't mind taking this statement of support, which is published by Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve. We'd ask that you simply display that in a prominent place and wherever you think is the best place for it at Fifth Ward Fifth Ward Junior High, to acknowledge that you guys are one of the employers that have demonstrated superior and extraordinary support for your military personnel. Again, with thanks, we appreciate it. We'll take a picture after this. Let's do this first. In addition to the award that Ms. Filipponi nominated Ms. Simmons to receive, Ms. Filipponi also nominated the school board in general to receive a above and beyond award. I will just read the award. It says, Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve presents this above and beyond award to St. Tammany Parish Public School Board, Bush, Louisiana, on behalf of the men and women of the National Guard and Reserve Forces for outstanding service and continuing support to the national defense. So, Mr. Jabbia, I would like to present say this to you. Thank you very much for your work and for the work of the board and support of our military and your staff.
Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you.
Thank you so much.
How we want to do this, folks.
Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mania. Yes, Ms. Baker.
Is the teacher here that nominated her she's gone already? Oh, well, I just wanted to say thank you to her as well. Oh, well,
Thank you
we wish
so
her
much.
very well. Thank you.
And all our guests, you're free to leave the meeting and we'll continue. Thank y'all so much. Congratulations.
He gave me one of these to start, and then should have to the line.
All right, board members, up next on the agenda is the health insurance update with Mr. Lynn Fontaine. Thank you, sir.
President Harrell, Superintendent Jabi, and members of the board, first thing I'm gonna say is, boy, am I glad I've got some good numbers to share with you after all of that. I'd hate to be up here talking about claims going up and all of that. What a beautiful presentation. So I'm going to present to you tonight an update on the first quarter of claims and some saving strategies, and I promise you it's all good news. So we'll go ahead and get started. Everybody should have a handout. Next, I have some extras if we don't. The first page is going to be the first 3 months of our plan year. I can tell you we're doing quite well. Our plan cost is down some 6.3%. Our medical is down 9%. Our prescription drugs are up about 4%. That's to be expected, but that percentage is much less than market average. Our net claims, claims net of any type of reimbursement to the plan, are down some 6.6%. Blue Cross plan costs down 6.1%, and when you couple that with the Medicare Advantage, we're down some 6.3%. To kind of give you, bring you up to date from where we were at the last meeting, we knew that we would kind of recap some things and went back to 2019. We had a good year and saved some money. Of course, 2020 stay-at-home order, and that was a positive year. And then, of course, 21, you got about a year and a half of claims packed into 1 year, and so we saw some pretty decent increases. I can tell you right now, also, we just had April numbers fresh off of the press. If you look in your at the bottom right-hand corner, you can see that currently we're at a $481,000 balance, deficit balance. So we've had plan costs of $22,757,000 with contributions of $22,275,000, leaving that small deficit to the plan. April's numbers, and we get a claim run in every week, every Monday, and we had 5 claim runs in the month of April. And I can tell you we've gone from deficit to a $746,000 surplus. April was a very good month. What we talked about at the last meeting is we're seeing some normalization of claims. We had pent-up demand in 21 of people going back and getting their health care services after the stay-at-home order when things opened up. And now we're starting to see those claims normalize. And we've also had a downturn in some of our larger claims. So all positive news as far as the plan goes for the first months of the year. And when we couple that with April, we're down close to 7% here. So doing quite well. And then if we go on to page 2, our saving strategies, and we've been working on this for quite some time, that we've been talking about the Blue Connect network. Blue Connect is the Ochsner network that Blue Cross has. We've been utilizing Blue Cross's PPO network for quite some time. This is a narrower network, and when it was first presented to me, they wanted to look at it as a sole plan choice. That obviously wouldn't work. We have employees not only here, but out of state with some retirees, Medicare retirees, things like that. So we look towards incorporating an enhanced benefit structure. And in this Ochsner network, there are deeper discounts. So we were able to negotiate, and after we looked at the enhanced benefits, about a $2.3 million savings. And when I review the benefits with you, these savings don't come on the back of any negative benefit change. It's all positive benefit change. So it's a strong enhancement to the plan while saving $2.3 million. And then our pharmacy negotiations, now that the group is of the size, you're starting to be able to secure pricing for employers with as many as 10 to 15,000 employees. That marketing and negotiation produced an annual savings of $3.7 million. So in addition to the downturn in claims and plan costs, we're also looking at $6 million of proposed savings to the plan on an annual basis here. And those savings do not produce any disruption to the employee, only an enhancement in benefits. That enhancement in benefits from the Blue Connect is on page 3. Your current benefit structure is in the green column. And of course, you know that your deductible is $800, and you see your co-pays of $30 for primary care, $45 for specialists, urgent care at $50, co-insurance of 90%, and a maximum out of pocket of $2,750. Folks, that's some very rich benefits. I'm going to give you some comparison on that in a few pages. Now, when you go to one of the Ochsner hospitals or providers or network affiliates, the deductible will be lower at $600. Your co-pays will be lower at $25 for primary, $35 for specialists, urgent care down to $40. We remain at 90% co-insurance, and we have a lower out-of-pocket of $2,500. So it's all enhancement. And at the same time, these are all providers that the majority of the group are utilizing already. When we think about St. Tammany, Slidell, Ochsner, North Shore, that's your 4 top hospital providers. And then when I share with you some of the other providers here, it's just all positive information to the plan. Page 4 gives you a kind of a brief summary of some of the providers in the Blue Connect network. You see the hospitals we just spoke of, Slidell, Ochsner, St. Tammany, that type of thing. But on top of that, you have all of these other hospitals that are Ochsner affiliates around the state. BioScript Infusion Services is our #1 non-hospital provider. They provide some high-cost infusion services. That's going to be in network that will get greater discounts there. You see the urgent cares there, as well as LabCorp and Quest Diagnostics. So it's a much broader network than just the 4 hospitals. So all of those providers will have a deeper discount, which brings the savings of $2.7 million to the plan. At the same time, no change to the regular PPO network or non-network benefits. So none of that changing at all. On page 6, in addition to the $2.7 million of plan savings, there's some value adds of virtual visits. Now, we know that the plan pays for virtual visits, but these are Ochsner virtual visits at no cost, no copay. Our virtual care clinics that are in the system right now. Once again, exam benefit there, and a dedicated concierge team. So all positive information with regard to Blue Connect, better benefits, and bringing in $2.7 million of savings. On the pharmacy, we're going to go to page 8. We collected all of the data from our current pharmacy benefit manager, RX Benefits, put that in a form to be marketed, and compared all the costs and went back and negotiated. And because of the size that you are now and the consortium pricing that you're able to get, that's what brought the $3.7 million. And the most important thing of that $3.7 million, it does not change the list of covered medications. That's called the formulary. No formulary changes involved in this whatsoever. We're able to retain RX Benefits as our pharmacy benefit manager. But at the same time, because of improved discounts, and the majority of the savings come from larger rebates, manufacturer rebates from all of the brand name medications, the annual projected savings based on the 21 claims or $3.7 million. So 2.7 from Blue Connect, and the rest of it from the prescription drugs here. And we're looking at $6 million of savings to the plant. Any questions on the saving strategies? Okay. The last part of the presentation, and this is more for reference, you know, when we got with the committee, because we hadn't been able to have a committee meeting in a long period of time, we wanted to make certain that they were aware of how rich your plan is, how competitive your plan is, not only from a benefit standpoint, but from a cost to the member standpoint, and showing the comparisons with your main peer, who's going to be the Office of Group Benefits, which was where you had your coverage before we entered into this self-funded plan many years ago, and then other school systems throughout the state here. Going through these benefits, it's easy to see that not only are your benefits richer, okay, when we compare to the Office of Group Benefits, it does not have office visit co-payments for physician office visits. Much, much richer on the prescription drug benefits. And when you look at the cost, you're comparing $87 to $204 for single coverage, $447 compared to $710 for family coverage. And of course, middle tiers being less expensive over here. And then when you look at Tangipahoa, Livingston, East Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lafourche, on with the rest of these school systems, you compare favorably, not only from a benefit standpoint, but also from a contribution standpoint, and not just a little bit more favorable in many cases to a large degree. When you talk about a compensation package for an employee, the benefits is a big, big part of it. And having that lower deductible, that lower out-of-pocket, that lower cost deducted from your paycheck for the coverage goes a long way. We just wanted to make sure that information was available to you. So kind of a quick recap. Really positive first 4 months to the plan. We expected that. We expected some normalization of claims. We were seeing weekly claims runs of $1.5 million, $1.6 million, $1.7 million. It sure is nice to see several of them under $1 million and coming back to what our averages were. We're actually performing a little better than where we were in 2019, and we're actually under our average 5-year cost. Right now, our plan is performing better than the prior 5-year average. So we're doing well on all aspects, and we're just going to continue to look for saving strategies, especially those that don't come in the form of a benefit cut or any kind of disruption to your employees or your members.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fontaine, for all your hard work and putting all this together and presenting to the committee and everything. Board members, did you have any questions? Mr. Derman.
Thank you, Mr. Harrell. Hey, Lynn, good to see you, man. A couple of things. A brief synopsis of why we went partially insured, I guess is the right terminology, when we broke away from the Office of Group Benefits for not only some of the board members, but also for the public. And then also, if I'm remember in the meeting, you said that the board has not raised the cost of insurance to its employees since 2015. Is that correct?
August of 2015 is the last time your employees had any type of rate increase. And folks, I can tell you that's just almost unheard of in my industry.
So over the last 7 years, 0 rate increase.
Most employees are used to getting a rate increase on an annual basis, and that kind of goes in hand with your first question. Prior to leaving the Office of Group Benefits, you got a renewal every year. And that renewal was either your rates were staying the same, or your rates were going up, and you had no control over your benefit structure. You had no control over those rates, and you couldn't even get any kind of data as far as how your plan was running. The two entities that have left the Office of Group Benefits since they changed the rules and made it very difficult to do so are you guys and Ascension. The reason why it's worked so well for you are demographically a much better risk than most of the smaller parishes that were utilizing the Office of Group Benefits for the reasons of economy of scale. The most important advantage of being in a self-funded plan on your own is being able to be proactive rather than reactive. You can manage your plan with data. Okay, you know, if data is abnormal or we have a cost increase, we have ways to address that and not necessarily allow it to come forward with any kind of increase to the employees or anything like that, obviously from some of the strategies. And at the same time, when you're talking about a plan that has a fixed premium to it and a fully insured plan, the cost of administration and the cost of running that plan, the fixed cost in the plan is usually higher. You've heard me tell you when we have full reporting time and time again how proud we are to tell you that you're operating your plan for 4 or 5 cents on a dollar, meaning that, you know, 95, 96 cents of every dollar involved in this health plan is dedicated to claims. In many cases, you find fully insured plans that the fixed cost of the plan that you pay for the network, claims administration, case management, and all of the other services that are involved in running a health plan, that can be as much as 14, 15 cents on a dollar. And when we're talking about the millions of dollars that are total cost of your plan, which runs about $70 million a year, okay, doubling that fixed cost or tripling that fixed cost would not be hundreds of thousands of dollars, it would be millions of dollars. So to answer your question, the simplest way is you have much more control. It's much leaner and you can manage your plan with data. Whereas under a fully insured situation, you don't have the ability to do that. And you're waiting around for the inevitable rate increase.
Right. And I appreciate the insight and the information because not only does it benefit our employees by doing this and keeping the rates consistent, but it also benefits the taxpayers as well because we're saving them money how we're performing and doing a better job of supplying benefits to our employees. So it benefits us in more than just one way.
And the employees know after the years of participating in it that it is a self-funded plan. It's their plan. Nobody else but a St. Tammany Parish employee or retiree can buy this plan. Okay? It's your own plan. It's your own set of benefits, and they know how to manage their dollars in it, staying in network and all of the other things. Your prescription drug numbers to generic utilization is very, very high for a school system, 87%.
And one of the other elements that when we broke away from the Office of Group Benefits was that our obligation to our employees was that we'd always either have equal to or better than coverage than what was offered by the office or the state. And I think we have done that over the course of, I don't know how many years we've been self-funded now. So, but that's through your efforts and the efforts of everybody else, you know, in administration and on the insurance committee to help guide and make these changes as necessary. But it's been a very good benefit for everyone. So I appreciate your help, Glenn.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Well,
thank you, Mr. Derman. Mr. Kuzan.
I have a question. If a person works for the St. Tammany Parish school system and retires after 30 years, and he was also employed, you know, and received Social Security and have so many credits, Social Security, are they absolutely required to take Medicare or take the option? Do they have to? They can't have the school board insurance? That question was asked me.
when an employee or a retiree becomes eligible for Medicare, in order to participate in the Medicare Advantage, they do have to purchase that Part B. Yes, sir.
They're not able to have the entire protection from the school system?
The Medicare Advantage plan does provide them with that protection. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question correctly.
Normally, I think with a certain amount of years, they would have a special reduction or discount if they're with the school system for so many years. Or that's not in effect anymore.
Yeah, they have a retiree.
Now,
has a
let's say,
lower
for
premium.
example, you have two people that retired from the school system with over 30 years. And one of them have the requirements to have the social Medicare plan. So that second person couldn't be on the school board insurance?
Second person could be on the school board insurance, but they could not participate in the Medicare Advantage because you have to have enough quarters to have both A and B to participate in the Medicare Advantage
So
plan.
is it, what is it, 40 credits or 40 hours?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kuzan. Any additional questions? Seeing none, thank you so much, Mr. Fontaine. All right, up next is the approval of minutes for the committee as a whole meeting held on April 7th, 2022. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Ms. Heinz. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Baker. Do we have any comments by the public? Seeing none. Any questions from board members? Seeing none, everyone please vote. Unanimous. And that motion passes unanimously. Up next, we have the recommends acceptance of the district handbook for students and parents for the 2022-2023 school year. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Luke. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Kuzan. Do we have any comments by the public? Any questions from board members? Ms. Page?
Mr. Harrell, are we going to vote on these individually or just as a group?
As a group.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions? Seeing none, everyone please vote. And that motion passes 8 yeas, 3 nays, and 1 abstention. Up next, we have the recommends authorization of Superintendent Javia and/or Board President Harrell to purchase 1.97 acres, Highway 40, adjacent to 5th Ward Junior High, Bush, St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana. Could I make that motion? All right, can I get a second? Thank you, Mr. Bro. Mr. Kosei.
President Harrell, Superintendent Javia, and Board, this item tonight, item B, rather, we ask you to approve is Fifth Ward adjacent property. It is 1.97 acres in total, and it is contiguous with our property. There were two prices that we had that was provided to us. One was $40,000, one was $38,000, and we were able to take the average price for $39,000, and we ask you to approve the purchase of this property.
Do we have any comments by the public? Seeing none, any questions from the board? Mr. Bro.
The property looked like it was heavily wooded. Are we going to be able to get any timber value off of that?
picture I saw, Mr. Bro, it was not heavily wooded. It was quite clear, kind of in the northwest
Okay, I
corner of
saw
our
it.
property.
The red box was around it. It looked all wooded. Okay.
Yes, sir. But if there is, then if we need to, we'll make money or save some money when we do use that property. Yes, sir.
Thank
We
you.
have no immediate plans to move with that property. Yes. Speaking of immediate plans, that is a dangerous curve, so it'd be nice if we cleared it. So while we are clearing it, maybe we could do a baseball field. Just throwing that out there.
Talked about using athletic field.
All right, seeing no more comments, everyone please vote. And that motion passes unanimous. Up next, item C, consideration of a resolution in support of state pay raises for teachers and school staff. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Ms. Baker. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Darman. Who's going to read the resolution? I'll go ahead and read it. That's it. All right. St. Tammany Parish School Board, in support of state pay raises for teachers and school support staff, to urge and request the Louisiana legislature to take all necessary action in the 2022 regular legislative session to support the passage of a statewide pay raise for Louisiana teachers and school support staff. Whereas pay among Louisiana teachers and school employees remains below the Southern regional average, the national average, and the average among professionals with similar education levels. And whereas recruiting and retaining a qualified teaching force is integral to the academic success of Louisiana students and the economic future of the state. And whereas Louisiana is experiencing a teacher shortage and St. Tammany Parish Public School System has 340 vacancies. And whereas increasing teacher and support pay will help St. Tammany Parish Public School Systems recruit and retain additional teachers and school support staff. Therefore, be it resolved that the St. Tammany Parish School Board does hereby urge and request the Louisiana legislature to take all necessary action in the 2022 regular legislative session to pass a statewide pay rise for teachers and support employees to be financed by the state of Louisiana and guaranteed in the minimum foundation program. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution to be spread upon the official minutes of this board, with copies being sent to Louisiana Governor John Bell Edwards, to the Speaker of the Louisiana House of Representatives, and the President of the Louisiana Senate. Yes, unanimous second. Do we have any comments by the public? Ms. Osborne.
Just want to thank Superintendent Jabbia for bringing this resolution to the board. This board has enormous influence on the legislature, and we need the state to do its part. You guys have done your part. We need the state to step up so that we can move this forward. So I very much appreciate your consideration on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Osborne. Any additional comments by the public? Seeing none, board, Ms. Hines.
Mr. Harrell, I would appreciate it if we could add who that it's sent to, a copy being sent to the Bessie Board and State Superintendent of Education, Brumley. I just think they should be included in that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Hines, for the recommendation. Do we have any additional comments? Seeing none, everyone please vote. And that motion passes unanimously. All right, up next, we have the monthly maintenance and custodial report. Mr. Kosa.
Yes, sir. President Harrell, thank you. Item A is your monthly maintenance and custodial report that you have before you. And our Director of Maintenance, Mr. Wade Gottschalk, is here to answer any questions regarding that report.
Seeing none, Mr. Kosa, you want to?
Item B is monthly risk management report, and our risk manager, Mr. Kurt Gaspard, is here to answer any questions regarding that report.
Seeing none.
And our final item C, our monthly transportation report. Our transportation director, Mr. George Bodie, is here to answer any questions relative to that report.
And I don't see any on that one. Thank you. Real quick, Mr. Goshaw, Mr. Overstreet, what crew is he on? Crew 1. So we do have, I like that tie. All right, construction. Ms. Tipton.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Harrell. Our first item is for consideration of bids for Abney Early Childhood Center Administration Renovation STPSB project number P0316. We received bids earlier this week, and we have that uploaded onto board docs. We're recommending acceptance of the low base bid and alternate number 1 submitted by CDX Construction LLC in the amount of $468,000 for the administration building expansion at Abney Early Childhood Center.
Mr. Hersey, you make that motion. Do we have a second? Mr. Burrell, thank you. Do we have any questions from the board? Comments by the public? Seeing none, everyone please vote. And that motion passes unanimously. Item B, consideration of a new project for a storage building.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You may recall that when we purchased recently a piece of property near the Covington Maintenance Barn over by Harrison and the Ed Center on Edna Street, that it was mentioned that we were hoping to put a storage building at that location. We provided some information. The school system currently rents climate-controlled storage, as well as uses some old classroom portables to store documents and important documents for human resources, business affairs, administration, and construction. So we were wanting to put that into a building that we would own, that would be more secure and would be a better environment for those documents. The largest portion of the storage building would be for maintenance. They're looking to change their purchasing of materials, and they need storage space in order to do that. They currently, although they do store some items, they are having to purchase largely on an as-needed basis. But with appropriate space, they'll be able to bid in bulk and store regularly utilized equipment, parts, and materials that they use often at all the schools. And that will result in savings and having the materials readily available. So we have looked at preliminary budget estimates to create this. We're anticipating that this facility would be approximately 30 to 35,000 square feet, and that with a total budget with the current construction cost, including architect and engineering fees, equipment, and contingency, could potentially be as much as $12 million. We have funds set aside in the parish-wide construction to support this project. Also, given the nature of the project, we're requesting that the board allow us to use a modified process for selection of the design team. We're proposing to request additional information for review by a committee appointed by the superintendent from those architectural design firms that previously went through a very lengthy qualifications process in 2019 for large and small capital projects. The recommendation would be brought to the board for consideration, and we anticipate that doing this would allow us to get started much more quickly. With this modified process, we think we can bring a recommendation to the board as early as July or August at the latest. So we're recommending that the board have a motion to approve this project for the climate-controlled storage building using parish-wide funds and utilizing a modified qualifications-based process for selection of the associated architectural and engineering design services.
Thank you, Ms. Tipton. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Winkler. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Derman. Do we have any comments by the public? Seeing none, do we have any questions from board members? Mr. Derman.
First off, thank you, Ms. Tipton. What is the estimated cost that we have in supplying these rental facilities now?
We currently, and Terry can help me here too, but we currently spend about $30,000 a year, and those costs go up pretty regularly.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 to 4 times a year they've been raising us. So it's
Okay,
going up.
are all of these other storage facilities, are they in our area or are they
It's one
elsewhere?
for storage facility. Red Dot storage is what we use.
Okay.
We have multiple units.
Okay, so roughly 30,000 a year.
Right, and going up. They'll raise every 2 months. One unit will go up $50 a month.
Okay.
Yeah, it's multiple times a year.
And most of these facilities are climate controlled. So you said that the square footage of this building is going to be,
We're estimating 30 to 35,000 square feet.
and is that whole area going to be air conditioning, heated or whatever, or just portions of it?
Probably just portions of it, but we'll have to get a better understanding of what maintenance's needs are.
Okay, and then
relative to
I
their
assume that
storage.
it's going to be partitioned off inside of the buildings,
Yes,
the
sir.
different types of storage use. Is this going to require zoning approval?
We've already rezoned this property for governmental facility use with the parish. And
So
this
it's
would
it's
fall within
inside
that,
it's
so-
under the parish's domain and not the city of Covington?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm just curious if the actual square footage overall size of the building is going to create more zoning questions or problems than if it was broken out in smaller units. In other words, if we're going to use it, let's say for heating and cooling, climate controlled storage, and that's 15,000 square feet, that building would be a self-contained building as opposed to it being part of the 32,000 square foot building. And therefore then the other buildings could be segmented depending upon the zoning requests or the qualifications that the parish may require for the square footage of the buildings.
We're going to work within what the parish allows for the property and the zoning that it allows. And then we're going to work to be as effective and efficient with the layout and design of the building relative to the climate control and access.
Okay. And then can you please explain to me the difference again in the selection of the architects and how that's going to work, please?
So you may recall that in 2019, with the passage of the bond issue for large capital improvements, we did an advertised request for qualifications, and we received many responses to that. And from that, we had several firms that were selected for large capital improvements and for small project work. We're proposing that we would just send out a request for qualifications, like an update for qualifications relative to this building type and where we're building in the parish and in Covington, and get these particular firms that have already gone through a qualifications process and been approved by this board to provide qualifications relative to this project for us to review. So it just narrows the responses. We would be going to a group of architects that have already been through a larger
Right, they've already
qualification
been
process.
pre-qualified, I guess, if you want to
Yes,
look at
sir.
it from that. And just from other board members' information that basically on these projects, the school board, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but the school board actually sets the rates. So these firms aren't bidding on the
correct.
job as professionals. That we determine the rate for whomever gets the job. The contract, if for the construction, is bid to the highest bidder based on the specifications that our architect that we select and the construction with Ms. Tipton overseeing that, then that's going through a bid process. But the selection of the architect is not a monetary process. It's strictly based on qualifications.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jarman. Ms. Baker.
Just one quick question. How is this beneficial to have just one facility in Covington when it's maintenance for the whole parish versus like a Covington site and an east side and a west side site versus, it just seems, I was just noticing the amount of hours available in maintenance and then their actual work hours. And then you have like 1,300 hours left, but you have it on the east side and the west side. So I'm wondering if that is the best use of facility and time in terms of employees and how they're going to get their supplies, and you're adding a lot of travel time. Why is it not best to put one on make it smaller and put one on the east, one on the west? And that might be a Mr. Jabbia question.
Or wait,
I don't know.
I know that Ms. Baker, we are talking about doing something on both sides, but right now we need the storage facility for our documents and what we use it for. We're piecemealing our things right now, and as Terry has mentioned, the price is overwhelming, but we do plan to address, we have property already in the east side, more in the Pearl River area, that we are talking about doing that with. But at this time, this is the best use of the facilities right now to address maintenance and our facilities for storage and being able to access documents right now. But we do plan on addressing both sides of the parish when the time is appropriate.
And during COVID, Ms. Baker, we ran into problems with almost not having space for bulk water and things of that nature for storage space. We just simply didn't have an adequate area.
Mr. Bro.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't doubt that there's a need for this facility, but there's a need for a lot of facilities. My district, I think probably every district is struggling to have increases with the CTE, which I think is so important to increase our career technical education facilities. We've been talking about that for months, maybe years, and I haven't seen much come about toward that end. I have portable classrooms. Most of the schools have portable classrooms. I cannot support $12 million when I have portable classrooms that are falling apart at the schools. I realize this is important, but we're talking about at $30,000 right now, we're talking about a 30-year payoff to break even. And that's if we don't pay for the air conditioning and heating and the maintenance on the building for the next 30 years. I don't doubt we need it, but we need to stack this up against all the other requirements and all the other needs that we have, and then rate them and prioritize them and see what is the most important to pay. Just because we have $12 million that we can spend, it may not be the best use of the money. So I would like to see alternate proposals of the $12 million or for whatever reserves we have that would benefit, that would yield the most benefit to our school system. And that's just my point.
Thank you, Mr. Bro. Mr. Kuzan, did you have something?
No, I want to ask a question at the end of the presentation. My question wasn't related to this.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Hines.
Ms. Tipton, can you give us an idea of the, how you came up with the cost? And I'm assuming there's not going to be much parking there, that the use would be mainly building because.
Building deliveries and pickup of materials to go out to where they need to go. Yes, ma'am.
And can you give a little more explanation of that?
So hopefully the estimate is higher than it will come in at. But as you are aware, some of our bids that we received in the late fall were substantially high. We're just seeing that in the construction market currently. We do believe that this is a fairly simple building construction, so we do hope that the cost per square foot will be reflective of it being more of a metal building, if you will, storage and some climate control aspects of it. So we think that we may do much better than we've been seeing in terms of the cost to build new classroom facilities and what have you. But we tried to err on the side of where it could fall out just from what we've been seeing in the construction market currently. But we hope that a lot of that will maybe settle down some.
So the specs you gave us tonight didn't include a cost. I mean, you mentioned it in your comments, but the written material we got didn't have that. So I want to be clear, your vote or our vote tonight is to move forward with a design plan for the building. And at some point, then we would put it out for bid and, you know, but we can make modifications along the way.
So-
I mean, we don't have a set plan now.
We have not designed this. We need to go through the qualification process and a selection committee to get a design team. And then work with maintenance and the departments that store documents that have to be maintained to get more detailed information so that a full set of documents and specs can be created that can be advertised for bid so that contractors can bid on that. And we would be bringing those bids to this board for
So
approval.
our authorization tonight would just be to begin the process, and we would just, the outlay, the financial outlay would just be for the plans.
Well, we're asking for approval to proceed with this project, including putting it out for bid. And when we put a project out for bid, we cannot by law advertise a project for bid that is not funded and within the budget estimate that's expected. So that's when when bids are received under that, we, by law, if they're in order, if it's in budget, it would have to be awarded.
Okay. Well, so I'm wondering if there could be a stepping back just to give us, you know, on a smaller scale to begin this and not have, you know, a huge financial commitment. I think board members, you know, would like a little more information. And so I'm trying to think if we need to just table it or, I think, you know, do I need to make a motion to table it?
No, you don't. Mr. Dermott, did you have a question first, or?
Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to amend what the recommendation is. So I think like exactly what Ms. Heinz is talking about, this is too open-ended. This is $375 a square foot for a storage facility.
And that's total project. That includes AEPs, contingencies, and other things.
I get
It's
it.
not-
I'm looking at the total cost of this school system is roughly $375 a square foot for this 32,000 square foot
And
building.
hopefully it'll be much less.
With all it, yeah, but we're not approving much less. We're approving it up to
Yes,
the
sir.
12 million. I think what needs to be done, we'll approve that we go out and we get the architect, we come back with some renditions of what we're gonna do, some estimated costs on this facility, what options this board may have in the construction and the type of construction, and give us some more input, because this is just, I understand there's cost increases in construction right now, drastically. But I think that this needs to be better vetted for us to actually approve tonight. So I would, I made a second on the original motion, and I'd like to make an amendment some kind of way. I don't know the Robert's Rule of Order here. Help me out, Paul.
So what would you like to do with your motion?
I want to go ahead and set the motion so that we start with the architect selection and all of that, but we're not granting the actual funding tonight. No, we're not putting it out for bid. We're just actually determining who the architects are. They're going to get together and give us construction estimates and options to that. And then from that point, then we'll approve the project to go to bid.
I would probably recommend tabling this and coming back with a properly advertised, plan along with what you're saying.
Whether we have to make a motion to approve the selection of architects, right, Ms. Tipton?
If you're open to this modified process.
The way you've advertised it, it's just consideration of a project on a storage building. So it's pretty broad, I guess. If you would like to make a motion to table, that'd be one option, and then reconsider it later. You could also make a motion on the floor to amend it along the lines of what you're saying, get a second, and then proceed that way.
We have another meeting next week, correct? The regular board meeting? Why don't we, like Ms. Hines mentioned, let's table it tonight. Can we bring it? No, it's got to come through committee as a whole.
We would have to table it till next month. It would have to be tabled till next month.
I don't want to delay the project, but I just really think the board deserves a little bit more insight into what the cost of this may be, so that, just like Mr. Bro's talking about, we can validate, if there's other projects that deserve the money more or not. I don't know. I don't know that. Sure.
Just an amended motion to select the architect and have more information submitted to the board before funding approval.
Can you read that again? Christie, for us?
I just want to make sure he was okay with that before.
Yeah, that's what my intent is.
Amended motion to select the architect and have more information submitted to the board before funding approval.
That's fine with me if my fellow, and I'll make that part of my second, but, I'd have to, who made the first?
You made an amended motion.
Okay. So now that we have to vote on the amended motion. Correct.
Mr. Hersey second.
Do we have any?
Mr. Kuzan.
Let's go then.
Well, I'd just like to move the table this until we get more specific information. Bring the whole thing back to us. We're piecemealing this. I just don't want piecemeal. I like to know what's going to be stored there. I like to know everything about the project, and then we go from there. So I mean, we know what we're doing. I don't have an understanding.
I think we already got an amended motion on the floor. Do we need to vote on that before now we make an amended to an amended?
You definitely do. You need to vote on the amended motion and get a second on it and get that cleared out before you take another action.
Okay. Do we have any comments by the public? Seeing none, do we have any questions or comments by board members on the amended motion? All right, everyone, please vote on the amended motion.
I move to table the motion.
But I think
we gotta vote this first.
We got to
We
vote.
have
If
to
this
vote first.
fails, then it would go back to the original, and then you do it.
This is only to select an architect and.
This is just to start the process.
You didn't get a box? Yeah. You didn't get a
Oh,
vote?
yeah.
Okay. I don't know why it's not opening, but 9 yeas, 3 yeas to.
And that amended motion passes 9 yeas and 3 nays. I think that's it, huh? We don't need to go back to the.
Would you accept the motion to table?
You've already.
I don't think you can table it once you've voted to move forward. You've just acted on that agenda item by approving the process starting and hiring an architect.
We voted on an amendment.
Mr. Hersey, would you?
I believe we just voted on to add it to the agenda, the amendment, not on the item itself, pass or fail. That was a motion to change it, not to up or down.
Okay. Well, if you're just modifying the existing item, you're fine. Your vote was 9-3.
That's what I believe we just
Then you're
did.
totally fine. If you're adding to the agenda, as you well know, it's got to be unanimous. So I'd make it clear that what I was recommending was a modified motion as read by Ms. Christie, and that vote passed 9-3. So now the board can vote on the motion as amended, or otherwise.
And you've already passed it. So when it comes to the board meeting, if you wanted to table it at that time, then we could table it at that time.
We voted.
No, they were voting on the actual motion to make it.
I know.
You've already passed something. That's my point. You've already.
In my understanding, we voted on amending the original motion. That's what we voted on, but we have not actually voted on the entire motion itself on this agenda item. As you disagree, Paul?
I'm going to defer to the board on that. It was quite confusing. I thought you myself were voting on your motion as amended. But if you voted to allow that motion to be amended on just the sheer procedural aspect of saying, okay, what we're now scheduled to vote on is the issue of the architects, if you're ready to re-vote on that, I would stand by that decision. But it did get procedurally confusing.
Was your intention for us to vote on it being the original motion to be amended, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're back to discussing the current amended motion.
That's right.
Okay.
That's where we would be.
So we could be voting on this, but Mr. Bro? Thank you, Mr. Bro. Do we have a second on the table? Mr. Harrison, do we need a vote on the table, or is that just kind of a? Do we have any comments by the public?
You should allow public comment and comments from the board and then vote on the tabling of your amended motion. That's where you are.
Any comments by the public? Seeing none. Board members, did y'all have any comments on the tabling? All right, seeing none, everyone please vote.
Never get more information on it. You're not gonna get any more. 9 yeas, 3 nays. 9 yeas, 3 nays.
And that motion passes 9 yeas, 3 nays.
So it's tabled, right?
It's tabled. All right, moving on. The construction report. Ms. Timpton, would you mind giving us the construction report?
Yes, sir, thank you. At Avita Middle School, the second floor slab has been poured. The exterior and interior stud and concrete block walls are being built. Electrical and plumbing are being roughed in with the walls. The work at the front driveway circle is scheduled to start as soon as the school year ends. The contractor has cleared the building site at Abney Elementary, and the new playground area has opened to the school. At Bayou Woods Elementary, the windows have been installed, ductwork installation is nearing completion, and the metal roof panels are on site and installation is starting. The front driveway work is also scheduled to start as soon as the school year ends there too. At Covington Elementary School, the school did move into the new building, and maintenance and IT are salvaging equipment out of the modular building prior to its upcoming demolition. At Covington High School, steel erection on the first half of the building is progressing. The concrete pour for the second half of the building slab is planned for next week. The contractor is planning to start work on the west side canopy area and the new student services entry area as soon as the school year ends. At Cypress Cove Elementary, the interior work in the temporary modular building is progressing, and the contractor plans to start work on establishing construction access to the new building wing site as soon as the school year ends. At Fifth Ward Junior High School addition, the fire marshal inspection occurred this week, and they did pass the inspection, and now they'll be scheduling the parish final inspections. At Florida Avenue Elementary, the kitchen equipment is being delivered and installed. The contractor is waiting on delivery of the walk-in cooler and freezer. The ceiling grid has been installed, and the temporary wall between the kitchen and cafeteria is scheduled to be removed as soon as the school year ends. Demolition of the main breezeway is also scheduled during this upcoming summer. At Folsom Elementary School, the wall covers are expected on site for installation. The millwork is installed in the classrooms, and the contractor is preparing for flooring installation. At Fontainebleau High School, the contractor started driving piles this week, and that's going well. At Lancaster Elementary Addition, the classrooms are complete and the balance of the structural glazed tile is due by the end of the school year. We did meet with the contractor and architect to determine a finished solution for the hallways if the tile does not arrive as promised. So we do expect that to open for the start of the school year with no issues. Lee Road Junior High, the sheetrock has been installed in the new kindergarten building. The brickwork is complete on that new building, and the work in the cafeteria and kitchen area is scheduled to begin in earnest as soon as the school year ends. At Little Oak Middle, walls are being framed on both floors. The masonry is being laid, electrical ductwork and plumbing are all being roughed in. And the extension of the new parking lot that's been poured that will work with the existing parking area is scheduled to begin once the school year ends. At Magnolia Trace, the contractor is erecting the steel structure. At North Shore High, the exterior doors have been installed, power to the building is anticipated, and electrical work is progressing. The exterior site and drainage work is underway. The contractor for St. Tammany Junior Elevator expects to start work on the elevator addition during the summer. Covington High and North Shore High School's turf field, the work by Paragon Sports that is working for the bonding company at these two schools, they're very near completion. The lift station work at North Shore High School is anticipated to occur in June, and that's being done by a separate contractor. At Slidell High, Fontainebleau High, and the turf system for 5 fields, PCC Sports is installing electrical to refeed lights at Slidell High School and is also assessing the electrical to the scoreboards at Fontainebleau High. They have poured the concrete in the North D zone at Fontainebleau High, and they have formed the track jump event at Slidell High School and are prepared to pour that. And they've indicated an intent to install soil stabilization next week at both schools. Pearl River High School, the contractor is about 80 to 85% complete with dirt removal and installation, and they've indicated that they should be ready for soil stabilization within 2 weeks. And then at Mandeville High and Salmon High, we did give notice to proceed on those 2 fields. That was following the end of track season this past weekend. And they've moved equipment and drainage piping to both sites, and they're investigating the location of utility lines under the field so that they can get started. We've also gotten started with our summer projects. We've had pre-construction meetings at Mandeville High and 6th Ward for the paving projects there. We also had a pre-construction meeting for the Covington High grease trap replacement this week. And we have a pre-construction meeting for the paving project for North Shore High tomorrow, and waterproofing projects for Bonnie Cole and Salmon. We'll have pre-construction meetings for those next week. We have a lot that's going to get started as soon as the school year ends. And that's not only just summer work, that's also work that is part of the larger capital improvement projects that has to happen during the summer. And we very much appreciate the assistance of the school administrations, maintenance, IT, and food services to make all of this happen and get everything happening as quickly as possible for the limited summertime that we've got.
Thank you, Ms. Tipton. Mr. Kuzan, you had a question?
Have any pre-construction meeting been done on the parking lot at Brock Elementary School?
There isn't a project at this time at Brock Elementary. For
I didn't hear you.
There is no project at Brock Elementary for parking
There's
lot currently.
no meeting or anything been done on the parking lot. I've been waiting a long time. Okay.
Any
Mr.
additional
Jackson?
questions?
Mr.
We'll work
Jackson?
on that. We'll work on that, Mr. Kuzan.
I heard that.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Sure, Ms. Moore.
Ms. Tipton,
Yes, ma'am.
when do you sleep? That was very impressive. I wanted to thank you for all your hard work.
Well, thank you, but it's the work of many, many people.
She's
And,
wonderful. She worked at my school with a construction project, and she is fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate the help. everything that Sammy Menino does, as well as the two ladies in our department. We couldn't do it without being a team. So, and it really, we have so many good contractors and architects and engineers working with us that make our lives easier too.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tipton. Board members, in your packet, you have the monthly internal auditor report. Did y'all have any questions? Mr. Bro, Mr. Incabrera.
So you've been doing this for 2 years, 3 years, 2.5, something like that?
A little over 2.
Okay, and you're doing about 2 a month?
To school.
Yeah, so my question is, have we cycled through the first round?
We have about 12 to 14 to finish the cycle of the first round.
All right. So I was going to say, if we've gone through it the second time, have we seen improvements and that kind of stuff? But since we're on the first round,
on the reports that end up not being satisfactory, do the follow-ups to pick up that much quicker. And on the the risk assessment is done each year, and in situations where we have, say, a high school principal turnover, like we just did, a new principal, those will be considered in the risk assessment to move to those quicker at that time.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bro. Do we have any additional questions? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to the Finance Department. To adopt a resolution levying millage rates for the tax year 2022 for a total of 62 mills. Do I have a motion? Mr. Bro, do I have a second? Mr. Betancourt? Do we have any comments by the public? Do we have any questions from board members? Mr. Betancourt? Ms. Prevost?
Ms. Prevost, what was the previous year's, our current millage?
Yeah, the previous year's was the same, 62 mills.
So
So this is
we're
a stay
keeping
the
it
same.
level, it's
Yes,
not an
sir.
increase or a decrease?
Yes, sir. It's to stay the same.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Betancourt. Any additional questions, comments? Seeing none, do we have any comments by the public? I did. All right, everyone, please vote. And that motion passes unanimously. All right, up next, we have the monthly financial report. Ms. Prevost. Go ahead.
Sorry. The March financial statement was provided to you, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Seeing no questions, Ms. Prevost, the monthly purchasing report.
Ms. Carrasco is here for that report if you have any questions.
Seeing none, up. Go ahead and release the supervisors. Y'all have a good night. All right. All right, we have the public comments, 3 minutes. Up first, Mr. Brant Osborne.
Good evening again, board members. I wanted to comment on Mr. Fontaine's presentation. I'm part of the insurance committee. Been very pleased with the 2 times that we met. Mr. Jarman's been a part. He knows the whole history of it, so he's instructed all of us in the history of that move from OGB to present. And part of my job is to be a skeptic. And at the end of the second meeting, I approached Mr. Pete, Mr. Fontaine, and I said, I keep waiting for you guys to give me bad news, and you keep giving me good news. So especially with the news that there's going to be no rate increases, no projected rate increases, or loss of benefits, and benefits are going up, coupled with what you guys passed tonight, I mean, I think it dovetails very nicely. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Osborne. We have no additional public comments, so I declare this meeting adjourned, and we'll a very brief recess.